Simon, Simon, look at this. Look,
Oh
Simon.
my gosh.
Watch
There he
my
Oh
is.
my God. Are
six
you
pack
kidding
coming,
me?
baby. That's what I got for you right there. My t-shirt.
Yeah.
We've been
Oh,
waiting,
so
Simon. You
good.
can't say, oh my God, to us. We've been waiting to speak
Oh,
with you, man. Like, I am
I
just
know.
happy I made it back because I was out of town for a week and sick
I
for a week.
heard. Yeah.
And my
You left
first interview
Abraham in
back,
charge.
what yeah, I
I know.
did, I did. And I'm like, first interview back, I get to speak to Simon. But Abraham,
So
start
good.
us out here, man.
Look, hey,
What? Hey, Paul,
Simon.
can I
Yeah.
start first?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
Okay,
ahead.
okay. In the pre, like I was mowing the lawn. I was listening to your analysis of the season, and Randy, I think it was you. You go like, I can't. You made a cookie related take on my game at the start, and I'm like, he has no idea what he's just said. Like it was so
No,
funny.
wait,
I
wait, wait.
can't.
Do you remember
He
what I
said
said?
something like, "This guy's definitely going to get his hands in the cookie jar," or something like that.
Yes.
Like he was going to, yeah. And I'm
That
like,
sounds
oh, I can't wait.
familiar.
I can't wait to see how the cookie crumbles for Simon. And I'm just like, wow, I can't wait to tell him at the end.
You don't
Hey.
know what you just started because immediately after
Oh,
this interview, when I'm gonna like supposed to be editing it, I'm going to instantly go and look it up.
Okay,
That
so
might be
drop it in here now. Like drop it in this part right now.
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
look, Simon. It's oh man, you played a fabulous season that lent itself to so many storylines. I mean, you against George, George against you, just your scrappiness, man, just to survive. Not to mention all the challenge wins. Congratulations on the challenge wins. Winning a vehicle. I mean, putting it in and just going through the whole tribal swap deal. Where was your mind at all this time when you were
Oh,
basically just clambering from the bottom all the time?
yeah. Just the whole time it was crazy. Like I know it was a roller coaster, but like it was huge. Like the highs were so high, the lows were so low, and like everything I tried just turned to ash. And it's like it's heartbreaking, but God, I was like resilient. Like I kept turning up with a smile on my face, and I love this game so much. And you just have to like pick yourself up and just go at it again. It's like something I tried something, it failed, and just like, you know what? Hey, like what else is gonna work for me? And I mean that's all you can do. You just like you try your best and you have fun with it because this is like you only get this experience once. And if you don't make the most of it right there
Oh yeah.
in the moment, like it will slide right past you and you'll never get that back. So yeah, and every other day in the game, you could pick yourself up and go again.
I mean,
Now,
man, it was incredible. It was incredible to watch as a viewer because one of the hardest things to do in the game is work your way from the bottom. Like I think a lot of times, and you were never like in that GOAT position this season, but a lot of times people who are seen playing from the bottom can be perceived as GOATs if they just
Mm,
can't control the game. Take like someone like King George, and I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about him, obviously. But take King George, someone who seems like he's dominating the game and leading every vote. You could make the argument it's just as hard, if not more difficult, to play with nobody than when you have, 4 or 5 allies to vote with you every single time. Did you ever feel like throughout this entire journey for you this time around, did you ever feel like you had a good voting strategy under your wing? Kind of, did you ever feel like you were in control of this game, or was it kind of just scrapping from the bottom every single vote, just trying to survive?
yeah, the only I was only really in control at the start, and going from the last time I played in Bransby Brawn, like I needed the tribe voting unanimously. Like I didn't need a divide at the start. That was really important to me. And that was like really the last time I was in control. And then the only other time that I thought I had something is when I'd passed over the idol, which I actually had in my pocket when Sam came and asked me if that was something that I wanted to do. I was a step ahead. I wanted that to happen because otherwise I just would have flushed it, right? But I thought I might have been in control when that was handed over, and then we can give it to, Flick and save those heroes there. But it's when you are on the bottom, it is really tough because you don't have a long-term strategy. It has to go from day to day and almost a just not me next. Like, and I helped like when I was in that position, I tried to emphasize that and make it more so known that I didn't have a lot of people around me. And as I kind of managed my threat level, it worked for me because the focus shifted off me. And then I ended up halfway through merge as like a huge challenge threat with like, no moves under my belt. But then all of a sudden, like the jury is really supportive of me and I actually have a chance of winning this thing. Like that's a really unique position to be in. And look, it would have had to be one hell of a pitch at Final Tribal Council. And as much as I like try not to think about it too much anymore because it hurts me, like I was probably in with a crack, and that's terrifying.
You know what? You're one of the players we saw a lot of emotional. I mean, some people go and that's me, that guy. Oh, that's that guy right there. Me. We don't see the emotion, that raw emotion. And when you won that tribal council where it was fire and you needed to win, you won. When you won the vehicle, you saw so much emotion with it. Now, that's all the camera caught. What was happening behind the scenes?
I mean, that's just like that's me. Like I love this game so much, and I am so so invested. And like those really raw moments, like only those wins and stuff, like that's why I fell in love with Survivor back in the day. Like watching Aussie like go on that tear. Was it Cook Islands?
Was it Cook Islands?
Cook Island? Yeah.
I'm about to watch that season for the first time ever. So like
I might watch that one with you. Like, like watching that's what inspired me to. That's why I fell in love with the game as like a 10-year-old. Like you fall in love with the challenges, but then you like then you come to like love like the strategy and the social side of it and the rest of what what Survivor provides as a package as a whole. So yeah, like that was just so raw and emotional to me. And that's like, as a fan, like that's what I just wanted to be there, and I was so happy to be there. And how like some newbies like you didn't have the appreciation for what the experience is that they have right now. And everyone says like, oh, they want to go back, like they'd love to have their time again. It's like, but that was it. That was the time. Like you had to make the most of that while you were there.
Come back.
Yeah. And so you can't rest on that. So I was just so emotionally in, and that's just who I am. So yeah.
So Simon, I promise that I'm getting to some really positive points that I have for you, but I do have to bring this up. So we saw at one point in the game, it's kind of when everyone found out that the idol was not actually an idol, which just a small question before I ask my big question here. I do have to ask, you never suspected that it wasn't an idol. There was no paper or anything. I know you've probably answered this a ton, but never suspected.
Yeah. Randy, I definitely suspected that there was something up. Like, it was enough to make me like, there are a couple of red flags there, but there was enough to make me go, this could go either way. No necklace, not being on a necklace, not having the note was probably the big one. And look, I definitely questioned it, but let's just say like the Survivor gods helped push me, over the line and helped remove any doubts that I may have had. And once that was done, I was like, okay, sweet. Well, like, why I don't have any reason to question this anymore. And once you have that information, then it's like, okay, well, now I have to play my game around this. And it was incredible the impact that had on my game, thinking that I had protection from a fake idol, then people trying to flush it, then trying to win heroes over with it, and then it all falling apart. Like from day 6 through to merge, that dictated my entire game. And like you can't script that. Like that was just huge how that kind of happened. And it's crazy that ended up getting flushed in the early game, and it just changed so much for me.
After that got blown up in proportion about everyone finding out it's not a real idol, I really felt for you at the time, because I'm like, you're over there, you're like, I'm just as shocked as everyone else. You got King George making his comments, and I'm like, does seriously no one think that maybe he was tricked here? This is a game of trickery and being deceitful and everything. So we saw this time that you looked like you were at the bottom of everyone's alliance. No one wanted to work with you. It looked like you were just down and out. We see everyone in their confessionals basically saying, Simon's the next to go. Simon's the next to go. Did you ever feel out there that you didn't have any friends on the island? Was it something that you felt back at camp? You felt lonely? I remember back to Marianne for season 42. At times she said, it's tough no one wanting to work
Mm.
with you. It's really tough being out here and not having someone you can even trust a little bit. So did that ever affect you around that time?
It was really hard, and it does really it really does get to you. I always had Haley. Like I'm always good friends with Haley, and so she was always there, but she couldn't be seen talking to me. She couldn't be seen including me in conversations. So I was like, I had, and Sean was always great as well. But like it was just so hard when I was so isolated and alone, and people are running off and having conversations. Like I had some really dark days out there. And it also affects your game because like you're only pulled in and you're only privileged to information when they want you to know information.
Yeah.
So even like when they come to you with a plan or something, you have to like absorb, process, and react right there and then. You don't have a chance to go off, think about it, and come back because they're not going to talk to you again. So it's like you're already on the back foot, and then it just happens right there and then. It's really tough to, I don't know, like just make something of it when you have nothing and no one's coming, forward for you. And like, but after the whole cookie thing, no, like everyone had a reason to doubt me. So even when I was doing something, there was always a cloud hanging over my head of doubt. And it is really tough because no one's taking you seriously. Misery is following me everywhere I go. And no one wants to work with you and just has a big question mark over you. And I feel like to an extent that wasn't my fault. So it was hard.
Yeah. I'm sorry you had to go through that because it definitely was tough to watch. And I'm like, we can't blame Simon too much for this.
Yeah. Now, hey, I came out the other side and everyone's been really supportive and I've had a great turnaround. So thank you for all the love. Like it's been great at the same time.
Now, there's two parts to Survivor. It's actually when you're going through it, playing the game, and then when you're watching it back on TV. So we know George was your arch nemesis this season. And Simon, I got to tell you, I met George in December at a charity event.
I know you guys shared a room.
Hey, and
he serves us every time. You already know.
Every time. And I can't.
We get it, man. We get it.
Yeah, I can't roll with you, Simon. I was like, George is my guy.
I know he's your favorite. Yeah.
Here's the thing: Tribal Council, LBJ. He be pulling y'all in. I don't know how y'all don't be like, no, I'm not answering that question. Do you feel like your response to the pond question could have been reframed?
I chose to double down at that time, like because it needed to be like George was antagonizing me when we're standing on the poles, and I was just like, look, there are people here just trying to do a challenge and do their best. Can we just like not engage this conversation right now when he's trying to get in my head? And I'm like, you know what, this needs to be said in front of the jury. They need to see how I'm saying it. And like I'm on the bottom. These guys are not moving. Subtlety has not worked for them. Like I need to like rattle the cage and bang on the door. It's not pretty. It's abrasive. It doesn't come across like well, but the jury respects that so much. Like they are nodding and getting along, and just like finally someone is doing something about this. And I could feel the positivity coming from them when I was like saying that. And like, yeah, I doubled down at that point in time, and it's just like they, just trying to get, Jerry, Matt, or Liz to like wake up to themselves and being like, you know what, maybe I do need to run across the board and try like get something under my belt. And it was just so frustrating because they were just so close-minded about that. And they were like the last 24 hours, 48 hours, they were so smug in camp. Like it was never happening. Like it was so obvious. So it's like, I'm gone anyway. Like I am a dead duck. Like I have to try every last bit. And yeah, I went for it. So I don't regret it.
I thought Nina was going. I'll say editing has been great this season because you never know who's going.
Nina was never going. Like that was me. It was a miracle I managed to get through that non-limb. By I was whispering to Matt. I shook Nina's hand to say good luck. And it just so happened that was enough to spook George, and then me whispering to Matt, I'm trying to get information about. I'm like, just, hey, tell me who to vote for. Like, tell me who to vote for. So at least can be like I was always voting for Nina anyway, but like just so he would like just think I wanted to like work with him just so I could show him something. And it was just enough to spook him. And so like, I almost made it to the final five. And then the first time something goes right for me, the non drops in. It's like,
Yeah.
that is just such a metaphor for, what my game is right now.
Now, Simon, I've been waiting to ask you this question because you are such a super fan of the show, and you might be a little biased towards this season, obviously, but I'm kind of torn when it comes to this season. On one hand, I think it is up there for one of the greatest Survivor seasons in general of all time. The storytelling has been incredible. The entire cast has been incredible. On the other hand, we mentioned pawns in the game, and there's been an argument about this season about George is obviously, from what we see as a viewer, and we don't know all that's going on out there, but he is obviously the leading the game of who might win if they make it to the finale. And we just continue to see people not make that move. We continue to see people jump to George's side and, work with George. Exactly. So that's the only thing that I'm like, is this a top season where the gameplay is top notch? And we've seen some incredible gameplay so far. Or does it get hindered a little bit by the fact that no one seems like they're willing to make this move against the guy who, outright from what we see, if he makes it to the final two, he is winning the game, and everybody should know this.
So I think to sum that up, like it does take the shine off the gameplay, but because it all has been so exciting the whole way through, what you can't take away is that how impressive that is for George to actually put himself in that position and to thread the needle like that. Like, full credit, like where credit's due. He has played one of the best strategic games of Survivor that we've ever seen. Like, it's so impressive to see that, and then to go head to head with that was just something else. So I don't think you can let the fact that he surrounded himself with three newbies who kind of keep running back to him with information after he's like crossed them multiple times, like it takes the shine off maybe the excitement from the last little bit, but like, God, it's set him up so well. And it's going to be a really interesting coming into the end of it. Like, now sitting on the jury, it's like George plays an amazing strategic game. His jury management hasn't been great. Can anyone stand on their own 2 feet and actually differentiate their game from George? Because I'm on the outs. I've been on the outs the whole time. I haven't seen the inner workings of this. And from the outside, like, I mean, if George gets up there and George makes it to the final, I reckon he could pitch and not even talk about a single move that he's done, because we all know, we've all seen it. Like, it has happened in front of our eyes. Like, talk to me about something else, because like, I know you've just played the best game. I was there. I saw it all happen. Like, he wouldn't not even need to mention it, but like mention like the jury management, that's going to be the big thing there, and the differentiation from here for me as a juror.
Now, Simon, you played twice now. What do you take away from this experience this second time?
I had some unfinished business to come back, and I came to leave my mark on this game. I didn't want to ever be a double pre-merger or 2-time pre-merger. So I just came to play hard, to get involved, to, do what I did last time, and to be passionate, wear my heart on my sleeve, and just be the fan that got their shot and just make the most of that experience. And I really feel like I've taken so much more from this game, so much more than I ever could have imagined. And it's been so special. It's been so special for me to be like, the fan that got that shot. And I just felt like I owed it to anyone who's ever applied, to anyone who watches it from the couch, to make the most of being in that moment there, and to never give up, because like, you can't take that opportunity for granted. And if you do it after the fact, it's too late. Like, that's gone. Like, be there, be present. And I did that.
Well,
before we wrap up, I know I want to tell you personally, one, you played a hell of a game. Hell of a
Thanks,
game.
Man.
From the
Thank
challenges, you. I mean, I don't think the storyline would have been as exciting if you weren't a part of it. And we know that everybody eventually gets voted out, but you were a part of a great storyline for this season. I truly enjoyed just watching your emotions, how you played. You generally enjoyed the experience and had a good time.
I got one. We got time for one more question, and this is how we always end. But before we get to the question that we know is coming up, I have to ask, earlier on in the season, people were so hard about the idol and everything. What's been the fan reaction, you know, when people see you out in the streets and stuff? Because, you know, you became a fan favorite, and then I'll wrap it all into one so we can wrap up here. I'm not going to ask, would you play again? I'm going to say, when will you play again? How long do you need before you go back out there?
The fan reaction's been great. Like, it's been so good to get that support and to have, you know, people on my side, and to see my game, and to see what I stand for, and how that shone through the edit at times. So I'm so grateful for that. Yeah, it's been overwhelming. And look, we went through a lot to get there collectively together. So to everyone who's been in my corner, including my mum, my poor mum, it's just been the up and down. Like, I'm so grateful. Yeah, just crazy ride to get there. And look, mate, to end like, you know, when I need a break. I need some time.
Okay.
It's been twice in 2 years, and it's been a lot. But I've got some very, some other things I need to focus on in my life and finish my apprenticeship and stuff like that. But, you know, I love this game, and, you know, when the phone rings and the time is right.
Are there any hats in stock before I actually let you go? Do we have hats in stock?
They are coming, but they are like very limited. So like, by the time this might be edited, they might like all be out.
I was going to say
the US fans have been awesome. Like, it's been epic. And I know that shipping's been a little expensive, but thank you, everyone.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Simon. We'll put the link in the description if he still has some hats available. Definitely go pick those up. I got to get me one of these last minute stock. But Simon, again, like Abraham said, it was incredible watching you play. Enjoy the rest of your day, man. And we'd love to sit down and talk longer sometime.
Oh, I love that too. And thank you, Randy and Abraham, for your investment in Australian Survivor. Like, you know, we all love this game so much. And it's amazing that we can, you know, that you guys see what magic is happening down here in Oz. It's been really cool. So yeah, thank you for all the love. I appreciate it.
Hey, have a good day.
Man. Yep. Catch you next time.
See you later. Bye.